Alrighty, g'day everyone, and welcome to the second part of this tier list. So this would be the mid-game unit tier list for Legend TD. Okay, so we've got our tiers, once again the same setup, S++ all the way down to F, with B tier being about average. So with me today I have some other people. If you'd introduce yourself, say g'day, that'd be awesome.
Hello, hi.
Hello, I'm RedRum.
Moamoa here.
EO here.
Awesome. So cheers very much for joining me. Appreciate you sort of giving up your time to give me a hand with this. So, I guess I'll just go for a start. I'm going to go Parasite. I'm going to pop this thing on the S tier. So, actually, before I start, I want to do a little bit more of a clarification. This mid-game being from level 11 to level 21. Because after that it tends to become a bit of a wash if you just build whatever's expensive, and if it's an aura then you want it. So I think that's a bit boring and self-explanatory. So focusing on level 11 to level 21. It's pretty rare that games go past 21 anyways, at least in LIL and FPG sort of matters. Alrighty, so I'm going to drop this Parasite on S tier. The reason I reckon for that is in the mid-game you start to build a lot more of the big expensive units compared to the early game, and spending 24 gold and 80 wood on a farm is not nearly as much of a concern as it is earlier in the game. So you'll generally have expensive units to boost. It'll generally be pretty nice for 20 gold. That's all there is for me. What do you guys reckon?
Yeah, easy S for me.
S is good.
Same.
Awesome. Who wants to take Peasant? Or never mind. So with this, there'll be a lot of units in the mid game that just suck, that you just won't ever build. So I'm just going to drop some of those in the F tier category. They don't need much explanation. This thing sucks. Right, who wants to actually take a unit now? Scientist.
Yeah, engineer. Best NT17 so far. Still, I'm not sure how to rate it because if you're gonna have a 17 game, it's the best unit in game. But most of the games end 15, so I'm not sure. So the best NT17 is it S or S plus, or because it's all other levels useless, we rate it lower. I'm not sure.
Well, I think we need to consider like 70% of the game gonna end 15 after 10. So
yeah, then it's a B or an A.
No, yeah, it's close. I mean, it's really bad it's so bad on 15. You need to juice it. It's really bad on 14.
I like one mutant behind the Hydra. It often snipes the behemoth.
Yep.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah,
And
so it
also
is. Oh, go ahead here.
Sorry. It's also a decent tank for 12. And it's not so bad for 16 as well, to be honest.
Yeah, if you juice it, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's kind of hard to like rate units like this. If for something to be S++, I think it has to be like really good on every round. I think S+ is like very good on multiple rounds, and maybe S is like will generally be quite strong on 15, and then maybe A is like it's really good on one round. Does that sound sort of reasonable?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like this mutant, it's like the best anti-17, but it's not really that good any other levels. Like even though, as Hio said, it's decent for 12 and 16, like there are much better options for 12 and 16. Anyway, and goodbye. Who wants to take the parrot?
Goodbye, no?
Yeah, it's close to be goodbye. It's maybe E or it's E, I guess, no?
Yeah, I think it's an E tier, if like it can still function in an AoE setup. I think it's probably not too bad on 20, doing like it's probably the best shaman blocker because it does a few hundred damage to the boss. But yeah, I'm not going to pretend like it's good. Landmine. Laters, mate.
Two stars.
Just joined us.
Nilla.
Nilla's here as well. Excellent.
Hi guys.
Welcome. So we've just started the mid-game tier list, so this is focusing on 11 to 21. I think after 21 it just becomes a bit brain dead and you build expensive things and that's it. Does that sound alright?
No, I'd put it on E. Maybe for 20 you can use it to slow, but it's just useless as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe some slow on demon, but probably you're not gonna build it.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. It has slight application because it's ranged with a slow, but yeah, it's not very good. Right, moving on to Spectre. Who wants to pick this one up?
I will. For me, it's probably B. Well, as the tier 1, it's really good, but the unit itself, if you don't consider it's a tier 1, it's not so OP. It's good DPS, good DPS 15, good okay DPS for Sand Killer. You can upgrade it for 20 also, but yeah, it's never A. I think B is fine, yeah.
I agree with you. It's like pretty nice on 15, but it's definitely not like primo anti-15, and has its use on 20. It's worth saying that debuffs and whatnot scale nicely into the like later game, but we're not focusing on that. So yeah, decent unit, but wouldn't build it that often. Cult? Yeah. You're gonna be there all your life, man. Sorry. Right, what do we reckon about Null? For me, this is E tier, just because the poison on 20 has some use, but in general, it's not very good.
Yeah. Same with the Tuscar.
Yeah, and you get one shot every level, and it's 10 gold instead of like a peasant or a cult, which is more gold. So yeah, it doesn't do much. Yeah, okay, it's fine.
Yeah, it's bad, but you might build it for 20. Pee-wee, I don't want veterans for 12. That's like the only level you might sort of consider them, 12 and 18 with the attack armor type, but I don't think they do anything, really.
Yeah.
Alright, Wolverine, who wants to take this?
Yeah, then I take the Wolverine. I think it's a D tier because it's absolutely not strong, but it has some use, 20, and yeah, you can always build it. So it's a weak unit, but not useless.
I agree. I don't mind at 20 at all, but it's obviously very inconsistent, difficult to place with most setups. Yeah. I mean, you can always have the dream of like a flanking Wolverine snipes the demon, but like, yeah, let's be realistic here. I think DT is fair. What about you guys?
Yeah, DT is fair. So if you have other options, you will always skip it, so D is fine.
Alright, next up, the Murloc. Anyone has an idea on this? Or do we just pop it straight in F tier?
Yeah, straight in F tier.
You guys don't like Defiler?
No.
Not really.
Nope. Alright, fair enough.
Even on 20, it's not even good. Like, it's not good on 10. Yeah.
I might be wrong, but I believe that Defiler doesn't start with full mana, which makes it really kind of much worse than it would otherwise be. So I think
I didn't even know it has mana. Okay.
Yeah, it has like a poison spell. It's not on attack, it's like a spell. It's like the it's like the upgraded Spectre spell, but worse, I think. Yeah, it's not very good. Acolyte. Who wants to take this one?
Yeah, I can go ahead.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of same like the mutant. It's best tier 1 for 15. Most useless on other levels, but it's the best anti-15 backline so far. Maybe with Warlocks. So A tier, I think it's fine.
Yep, I like that. So for you guys that just joined Nile, and if anyone else wants to sort of jump in, we're sort of thinking that A tier is a place for units that are like really good on A level in the sort of range 11 to 21, but if they're only sort of good on one level, they're probably not higher than the A tier.
Yeah, sounds good.
I sort of thought. Alright, so next, Skeleton. I'm going to take this one. Dark Mage, I'm going to pop it in S+. I think it gets better in the mid-game compared to the early game because you have more of these bigger units that really like a good attack speed buff. Synergizes super well with all the damage-oriented tier 5s and tier 6s. even some of the lower tier units as well. It's just super nice with the vast majority of builds. I think very rarely in the mid game will you be using units that dislike or that don't really benefit a Dark Mage buff.
Maybe it's even a S++ for me. It's like 105 gold for such a buff. This is incredible good. If you have a good setup, like really good damage dealers, which just have low attack speed, this is insane.
Yeah, I think it's S+ because some setups you don't have the big units to buff them. I mean, well, actually, most of the time you do.
Yeah,
I don't know, it's pretty close.
it's close. It's for sure the strongest tier 1 unit.
Yeah, without a doubt. Sorry, go ahead, Neil. I was just agreeing with you.
Hard to say, to be honest, because Dark Mage really gains strength and potential since 11. Like in pretty much every round, if you have the good setup, he's a really great unit to have in pretty much every round.
You know, I'm okay with popping it up the top. I think you're right, Rummy, that it's just super good with like maybe 90% of the setups you're gonna have if you're not a leaker, and it's good on every round. I think it's fair to put it up here because it's so cheap for that buff. Then Proton, I'm gonna put this in E tier. No. It's a relevant backline damage dealer. It is like bottom of the bag, but you can use Adepts. If you have something like Tok and you have nothing else ranged, then you can use Adept. That's my opinion.
Sounds good.
Okay, fair.
Alrighty, that's the tier 1's done. I think that looks all fine to me. What do you guys reckon?
Yeah, I need to think about the Dark Mage, but I think it's really close.
It could be hero here, but it's super good without a doubt. Yeah, unfortunately, tier 1's just being cheap and still taking farm space. It's just makes a lot of them pretty weak in the mid game. Right, moving on. Panda. Anyone disagree?
F.
Yeah. Right, Elite Archer. Who actually wants to take this one?
Okay, I will take it. It's good to cover 12, 13, and 14, and rest of the time it's probably D or E. So, well, since most of games are about 15, I think it's a C. Yeah.
I think it's stronger.
I think it's
Because
also
you
stronger.
cover 12, you cover 16, and when you are no holder, you can always, not leak, but have a nice push for bigger sense. So I would put it maybe even in A, but for sure in B.
For me, this is an A tier unit. You can be like the holder for your team on 12, 13, 14, 16, and 21.
And you clear all other levels, so you just keep the sense. It's really strong, and you provide lumber. So
is it even an S? Is it an S tier?
Maybe I would have.
No, but you can't consider provide lumber. It's like you're on after arena, you have your setup already, and now you get EA. Do you build it or not?
Okay,
then
it's an A or even in B. But if you have already a lot of archers on your lane, this could be even an S.
Yep. I think A is fine, to be honest.
Well, it depends the way you see all this. Like for me, we need to consider you have any role, any setup, and you get EA after arena. I see this like this.
So okay, but what's the case if you have a lot of EAs? You really roll after 10 and you get Acolyte. You never mid 15. Is it then a B?
Yeah, but you need to come. Yeah, this is tricky. Yeah, but of course it's setup dependent. Like,
for 15 and 17, it's a shit unit, and they are the most important levels. So I think A is there.
Yeah, I agree with
many, like Security to Acolyte and many other units is shit, and you can't really go mid 15 when you started your EA build. So it's S would be too much. A is fair.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, even though it covers a lot of levels, it's weak on the two more important ones. So, yeah. Alright, Corrupted Ent. Anyone disagree?
Nope.
Who wants to take Wanderer, also known as Solar Villain?
Yeah, I can take it. I think it's just a C tier. It's only useful for 20 kinda. You have the minus armor. But yeah, it's also good for Sandkill 15 maybe, but you just build one and it's not very strong. Warlock is always better, but you have some use, and that's a C tier for me.
It's, yeah, I agree. It's a below average supporting unit that does support you on every wave. Does that sound fine for everyone?
Yeah. Completely.
Cool. Infantry. Thoughts on this?
I can take it. I think I would put it in C maybe, with the sort of villain. The only use I see at all is to snipe the Garks on 14. The DPS for its gold cost is okay, so not as useless as the Wolverine, but yeah, just for 14, snipe the Garks.
Personally, I think it's D.
DPS, yeah.
I think it's
But-
like, I think the other use for it is behind something, behind exactly Tok as like Sandkill. I've gone mid on 17 with 4 Toks and about 20 infantry. But yeah. So it's like, it
It's
can be
stronger
used as...
than Wolverine.
Do you reckon it's stronger than Wolverine?
Yeah, you have some more use. I think I'm not sure if it's C tier, but you can also use it 16 when you feel 16 cent, and it's always for 20 maybe it's a cent killer when the other team sends mass. And yeah, it's not strong for sure, but yeah, I would put it in between C and B. Not sure.
What do you reckon, Hio, and someone who didn't give your opinion yet? Because I kind of think it's more D.
Well, for me, I mean, okay, for sure it's better than Wolverine, but for me, Wolverine is E, so. But yeah, it feels overall it's better than Hawkfire, yeah.
Because it's kind of like if you compare it to Wolverine, then it's stronger than Wolverine and has more usage than the Wolverine. But if you compare it to the Soul of Villain, for example, then you would say it's not as strong as the Soul of Villain if you compare it to the mid-game. From 11
Yeah,
to
it's between
21.
both of them, yeah.
So where do we
I'd say
want to...
I think.
I feel like it's more of a DT unit than a CT unit, personally. Like, Wolverine notwithstanding whether it's better or worse, I feel like it's more of a DT unit.
Okay.
That's fine, yeah.
Okay. Next one, Ogre. I'm going to put this in E tier. Stun, it can be used on 20, but it won't really be consistent. Can be used on 17. Doesn't really work very well, but it's not the worst unit in the game.
Yeah.
Fine.
Alright, Novice. Yep, sorry, you're not climbing out of there anytime soon, mate. Who wants to take Warlock?
Well, I will take it. It's for me just with Acolyte. It's better 14. It's better 20. Just having one of maybe it's close to be S, because you can just build one for demon killing any other level than 15. When with Revenant it's harder. Yeah, it's between S and A for me, I think.
For me, Warlock is 100% better than Revenant. Revenant is good
Yeah.
on 15, and then, like, I guess it does some damage 20, but it's not that good. But Warlock, the armor reduction is useful even on levels where the magic damage, like its DPS, isn't. So
Yeah.
I think it's just has more application. Like, it's Solar Villain, but it's actually really good.
Yeah.
I think it's useful on every level.
Yeah,
If
100%.
you have a good front line, it doesn't matter what else do you have. If you have a front line, it just adds so much DPS, and it's a demon killer, scent killer. For me, it's maybe even S plus because you just build it if you roll it on every setup.
Yeah, I agree to this. For me, it's S plus. It's own besides level 12 and 16, it's useful every level. So it's also strong 17 even. Not OP, but it's strong. So 15, it's one of the best units, and yeah, it's always good for every level.
Yeah, I can get around that, and it's
You're right.
and as you guys said, it's really good versus Ascends as well. Like even if it just taps like an Infernal or Behemoth once, that can make a massive difference. Yeah. I'm around that.
Yep.
Super good unit, without a doubt. So he's being rescued from his early game rating of B tier. So he's scaled up nicely. Well done, mate. So, next one, Spider. Who's got an opinion on this?
I can take the Spider. It's from 10 to level 21, right?
11 to 21. Level 10 was covered in the
21. Okay, so it's it's an A tier for me, because the speed reduction is important for level 20. It's good for level 16, and for level 21 it's very useful. And yeah, it's a good demon or scent killer any level, so it's an A tier.
For me, it's more like I agree with all you say, but you build like 1 or 2 of those usually. So for me, it's more like a B tier. But yeah, indeed, it has a good utility in most of levels.
I'm happy when I have it pre-10 and I have it already on my lane, because it's not that value later. You use it on each level, but after 10, even if I re-roll it, I nearly never build it only 20 or 21, because all other towers are better. So I'm happy when I have it already on 10 on my lane, but after I rarely build it. So I kind of agree with more.
Well, you need to be fat as fuck to build it, like, because the main utility is demon killing, scent killer.
But
Good
for
on
16
20.
and 21, it's a legit unit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
20
agree
also.
with what you said,
It is a
but
legit
also-
unit, but is it Elite Archer level legit? Considering how much I would say Elite Archer is a lot better on those levels, even though it is worse on 20.
Okay, yeah, I agree to this. I'm fine with B2. So
But yeah, I definitely agree with like everything you said in terms of like the strengths and the uses of the unit. It's not useless for sure. It's very, very buildable, but it's more of a support unit than damage dealer. Alright, moving on then, if everyone's sort of okay with that.
Yep.
Moving on to Ranger. Who wants to take this one? No takers? Alright, I'll take it. So Ranger is obviously very, very dependent on what you have. If you have pierce damage, it's really nice. If you don't have pierce damage, it's kind of not that great. So for me, I would put it... I think it's more of a BT unit. It's a support unit that basically increases your damage, but you do need a fair amount of pierce damage to actually make it worth building, and it's useless by itself. And the thing is, the mark is not very useful versus just the regular creeps. It's kind of only good on 20 and then versus the sends, and like as a just stats unit by itself, it's quite weak. So I think it's B tier, good support with pierce, but otherwise pretty weak. What do you guys reckon?
Most of the time, I'm happier to get Soul of Villain than Melial in mid-game.
Yeah.
Like, it's the only ability is to demon killing again. I mean, even if you have a lot of pierce, which means you're probably weak lane anyway.
True.
You're gonna target just one unit, and it won't help you to clear better. So it's good for Demon Killing, but for me it's maybe slightly better than Solo Villain. But actually not, because you need to have a Pierce set up already, so...
It's better than Solar Villain and Pierce. It's much worse otherwise. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what are we thinking then? C tier?
Yeah, C seems fair.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yep, moving on then. I can get around that. But you guys agree with everything I said, and it was just a bit too high for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Alright, moving on. Sorry, mate. Is there any use for this unit?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Like, there is the hypothetical situation if you know a game is going 21 and you like build a couple of these on 11, and then by the time 21 comes around, the undead ones, they've died each level and maybe they're actually kind of well statted, but
I think it's still bad, it's still that value probably.
Yeah, it's too much of a pipe dream. Ghoul, it just falls off really, really hard after 6. Aqua, what do we think about Aqua?
If you build it after 11, it's only for 12 and for 14.
And 18.
18
And
when you got
18.
nothing. Yeah, I would put it in C tier, so it has some use, but yeah, you always try to build another unit. That's better. But yeah, when you really need a 14 cover, you can. That's a good build, and for 12 also. But then it's absolutely shit every level. So yeah, better than Wolverine and Int for sure. But that's it.
Fine for me.
I think that's
Yeah,
fair.
fine.
Alrighty, next up, Egg Sack.
Best delay tower.
It is.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it
I
has a
didn't
use.
consider
It
that
has a
point.
use. I would put it in D.
Okay,
D,
Remy has
D,
the
D.
point.
In D is fine.
D.
Yes.
Okay.
D sounds
I was
Okay, you have the point, Remy.
I was taking a second to like collect my thoughts how I was gonna tell that like B tier is too high. But yeah, I agree. I agree with D.
I wanted to put it in D.
I agree. It's actually not too bad on 15 either, because if it's not getting hit by sends, it normally procs. So you can use it as like a bit of a tank on 15 as well, even if you're not going for a delay style leaker build with something like Revenant if you just desperately need frontline. But yeah, it has one minor application and then otherwise it's for leaking slower.
Yeah, fine.
Right, Clock, I think he's here.
Yep.
Yeah, the ability just falls off super hard.
It's not even good 14, man. This is
No, it's
crazy.
not. Who wants to take Captain?
I can take it.
Yeah, go.
Oh, it's a tricky one. It's the first aura we see, I guess.
Yep.
I like the small one most of the time. It's decent. It's if you compare it to the others aura, it's not really good. I mean, even Ice Troll is way better, probably. It's still okay though to get it. I think it's a B. What you guys think?
I
Yeah,
agree.
I think that's fine. The real problem is that it dies too quickly because it's not a ranged aura.
It does like
Aura,
die.
so yeah, so it just dies very quickly, and yeah, then it's useless and it's very weak from the stats. So that's the reason why you mostly just build an unupped, and that's fine because for 110 gold, it's a solid aura that's good. So B is fine for me.
Yeah, I think it's nice, but you're completely right. It dies too quick. Now for guard, do we think it has some minor application for level 12, or do we think it's just garbage?
It's garbage.
Garbage. Fair enough. Rummy.
Oh, Remy, one for you.
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah, think it only use 20 and 15, maybe 21 a bit. It has some AoE damage as well, the Thunderbird. But I don't think it's as good as Acolyte. But still a really good tower for 15 and 20. But I would put it in B probably.
I actually
Yeah,
think
you're right between B and A.
I actually think it is an A tier. Because we compare it to Revenant, it's a little bit worse, but I think it has more flexibility than Revenant just because it's better in AoE setups. And this is so much better on Revenant than Revenant, on 20, on 21, even on like 17 it's better than Revenant. Just because it has some AoE, so it has some synergy with other units.
Yeah, I like it. I love that unit, so
I really think it's like pretty
the happier
bloody
I
good.
am.
I'm not happy with this unit, but I might be wrong. For me, it's C tier because it's weaker than Akko, and you can't say it's better on 17 because it's still useless 17.
It is still terrible on 17.
Yeah, for me it's C tier, but I might be wrong. So yeah.
It's between Spectre and Acolyte probably. It can't be C tier since Spectre is B.
Yes.
For me, it's between A and B. It's a bit tricky, but
here's maybe a question then, because we seem to be running into the quandary of like, where it feels like we're missing a tier. Does Scientist and Acolyte move up to S tier, and then Sprite stay on A tier?
Yeah, but Scientist is not so good. It can't be S.
Acolyte and Mutant are never S tier. They have only one good level.
Yeah, I suppose. So where are we? Did we decide on this, A or B? Probably more B then.
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
don't know really. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. It's better on 15 than Spectre though, without a doubt. Harpy, this is for you, isn't it, Mara?
Sure, it's a D. Utility on that it has a bit DPS for 15. Main utility is for 20. But still, low range, so it gets sniped most of the time against the turtles. But just one hit of the poison is still really good. If you have extra value on 15, you can build it. But yeah, against the sand it doesn't really work because again they get sniped most of the time, so they probably die before attacking any demon, any level. I think it's a D for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Good.
Cool, moving on. Gate Guard. I think I want to put this in E tier, same as his friend the Raider, just because they spawn 2 units, which to me makes them more efficient as a dumb tank compared to all of the F tier units.
Oh, I would put it higher because on any cent level when I have them in my role, I spend all my last gold putting them into front. They take a lot of hits, and your backline can damage all of the lane until they die. So for me, they are quite good tier 3s to take some hits.
It takes like 2 hits on 15 or 3 hits. I don't know. On the dog, it's taking maybe they take in total 5 hits, 3 plus 2.
Yeah, and that's a lot.
Yeah.
So
but
it's
more
D-tier?
use than a harpy.
90 gold though.
Yeah, but more use than a harpy.
I'm not so sure.
I would rather have a Harpy.
Yeah.
Me too. I like E.
Yeah, but they have more use than the other E tier units. I agree on that too. Because the meat shield might be important. On the other hand, you can build every other unit as a meat shield too, when you have some spare gold.
Yeah.
For me, they're just dumb tanks that are slightly better at being dumb tanks than any of these units. So I don't see them above E tier.
Yeah, sure.
Is that okay for everyone, or whatever?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Watcher. Do we
F.
believe in Bezdak
F.
for the mass watchers anti-15? I don't
Not
believe in
TKS,
Bezdak for the
that's
mass
no way.
watchers anti-15. I don't think it's good. Is everyone happy with F tier?
Yeah.
Yeah, just the reason it has no application to like mass at anti-15 is because the range is too short and the attack speed is too slow. Like, I would much rather mass sprites, and I would never mass sprites because Thunderbird exists. Alright, Tribesman. Does anyone sort of have a thought on this?
Yeah, I think Tribesman is a C tier unit because it's one of the best sand killer. But that's it. So you need a good front line and a good damage dealer for 15 and 17, and you have to be strong to make this unit work. But then 3 or 4 alpha males can really help you to go mid.
Yeah, but the DPS are not so good. Okay,
Yeah,
it's fine
maybe
indeed if you have good value. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
For me,
C or
it's-
E, maybe D, because it's really, you need to be strong to make this work. So yeah, maybe a bit better than Zeus, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more of a DT unit for me as well, but it's certainly got some usage. And, you know, the pierce damage, while it's not like the optimum damage type, it does make it better on 16 and 21, even though it's not particularly great on either of those levels. Right, Night Saber. Who wants to take that?
Take it
Moa,
from-
go ahead, you love it.
Well, mid game it's not good 14 at all. It's okay 12, it's okay 16. I don't know if it's fine. 21. I think even crawlers is better than Saber on 21.
I only like Saber on 21 with AoE personally. I think it's not good, but if I have AoE, I think it's like usable pierce damage.
I think it's a C for me. I think crawler is better mid games than this. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
can
know.
agree.
Alpha male is always better. 21 and 60. Yeah, 60 maybe not, but for sure 21 and it's a demon killer.
This
So
thing's
I
good on
always-
12 though.
Do you ever saw a Night Saber mid 12?
No, but I haven't seen many 12 sends recently either, I'll be honest.
Okay.
Because they run front, they tank a lot on well, so
Yeah.
if you have front line with it, yeah, I don't know.
Is it
I
here
think
then?
C's.
Yeah,
Yeah, could be.
What do you reckon?
I think it's pretty useless
Yeah.
after 10.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah,
But you
I
have
think you're
zero
right, Nilo.
dual killer ability, and yeah.
I think you're right, Nilo, that it's not as good as Tribesman. Does it even deserve to be on the same tier as Tribesman?
Yeah, that's fine. There you are right. That it has some use 12, so it's not completely useless. Yeah, it's fine, I think.
Ah, cool. Moving on to Ice Troll. Who wants to take this one? Okay, I'll take it. I'm going to pop Ice Troll in A tier. I think it's good on every single level with an AoE setup, except for 20, where it's not very good. But it has a slow when you upgrade it, so that's kind of useful, I guess. But yeah, good AoE damage aura that's useful on every melee level.
Agree?
That's
Yep.
fine for me.
Yeah, same for me.
Cool. Looks like I got something right. We'll see how many of those we stack up. Right, Malformation. Anyone have an opinion on this?
I do.
Yep.
For me, it's a D. Like it has no tank ability. The clear ability is shit because it dies fast, and you don't have the mana for the death spell. It's pretty useless. Could be even maybe E.
For me, this is an ET unit. Just thinking about when I
yeah,
build
right.
Abnormality after level 10, which is almost never.
Yeah, it never ends up good if you do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the only reason it's not F tier, just because like it doesn't function well in the mid game. The only reason it's not F tier is because it's actually just a good unit.
Yeah, and it can be useful 16 because it snipes sense even if you're weak. You build 10 up nose, and that can help you to snipe the sense 16. But it's E tier for me too.
And that's because the demons and krakens like sit on top of the dinos, is it? Like the salamanders, they're in the same spot.
Yeah, I just think because the salamanders run faster when all your army is dead. The demon or the kraken is the last unit and gets killed.
There you go. I've literally never thought about that before. So there you go. I've learned something. I'll keep that in the back pocket then. Alrighty, moving on. Meat Wagon. Thoughts on this?
I would put it in B, same as Spectre. One good level, and that's 17. If you have a good front line with Tox, it works really well. You can even go mid. Same with other good front lines. It can help 17, so one good level, and the rest, it kind of sucks.
I agree with that, but I also don't hate it as just a behemoth killer on 15. If you just feel like you're gonna never be able to kill the behemoth, it has some siege damage. That it works nicely if you have like an AoE sort of comp. And AoE sort of comps tend to be the ones that really struggle versus the behemoth. So I think it's pretty usable. What do you guys reckon?
For me, it's better 17 than Spectre is good 15, and it's really decent DPS against the Sense. Spectre can be upgraded to be decent on 20. They are probably comparable. I think B is good for Meat Wagon. I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. It's not strong enough to be A tier, but better than C tier. So it's definitely it's a B tier for me.
The nice thing is it's cheap as well. I guess so.
Yeah.
It just fits nicely into a lot of builds. Right. Phantom.
But cheap also means it uses a lot of farms. So that's not always. That's a big problem with the Spectre, by the way, because you often miss the demon because you need the 2,600 lumber because you need 5 farms when you start to build a Spectre build.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen most recently Elder went mid on 15 with mass spectres, and I believe he had 71 food.
Yeah.
You know, and he went mid.
It was a huge mid.
It was a good mid, absolutely, but it was a lot of farms.
Yeah.
Alrighty, moving on to Phantom. Anyone wants to take this?
Sure.
Yep.
Well, it's one of the best clear units for mid-game, so it's probably S+ for me. I mean, the only problem with it is you just need to don't overbuild it because it has no effect against the sand. But if you have the good value of Hellraiser, you have your clear ability, and then usually it tank good enough to die before your demon killer are attacking the sand. So yeah, it's a great unit mid game for pretty much any level.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's a nice catch-all DPS. It's just good on every level except 20. Is it S+ or is it more like S though? What do you guys think? Because I see the reason why it's S+, but I'm not sure if it's just more of an S tier unit.
The problem is you need the tank front line. You need a good tank front line to make it work, and you need also the demon killer DPS.
Yeah.
To live. But if you have this setup, it's super good. So
it is, and you can also skip the demon killer and just clear with relatively low value.
Yep.
It's really strong. I would have put it S, but yeah, it makes sense. So S+ is fine for me too.
Right. We might have a look at which other units rock up in S+ and then reassess, because I think it could go on either, but it's definitely up there just because it's so useful on every level. Right, moving on to cannon, specifically the cannon that has been loaded, not the cannon that has been forgotten to be loaded. Who wants to take this one?
Remy, you love the cannon. Go for it.
Yeah, I love the cannon, but I'm not so sure. I didn't play enough games with it late game, so but it seems quite well on each level you can use. Normally you use the big balls after 10, but it's
Huge
quite
balls.
decent. It's quite decent all levels. For me, it's maybe an A or an S tier.
Okay. For me personally, I've seen really good things with this cannon. So, starting out level, say, 13, pierce shot is really strong. Bit weak on 12, bit weak on 14. On 15, if you need clear, you can go for the magic damage shot, which is really helpful. If you have good clear already, the huge balls is like a really, really strong demon killer. 16, it's useful. 17, it's good backline. No idea about 18. 20, I guess it's okay single target damage, it's not primo. And then 21, I've seen this thing do super, super well in an AoE setup, like big, big mid. So I think it is definitely an S tier unit. Maybe even higher.
It's hard to say for now, but I tested in debuff with Dorimu, and the clear ability is really close to the Revenant on 15. But of course, then you don't have a demon killing ability. But yeah, it's just insane. You just need to adapt good about how much you need to load them as clear with magic, and how many you're gonna load as big balls to demon killing. Yeah, it could be S plus.
I feel like it's a similar tier to Phantom, but I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I haven't
I
played
think
enough, so I will trust you guys.
It's
I didn't
good
play it
without a
enough in
doubt.
late game.
It is good without a doubt, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, we might sit it here for now with the caveat that because it's a new unit and not many games go past 15, we're a little unsure about it, but you won't go too far wrong with it, I don't think. Right, turret.
Just one question about the
Oh, yeah.
cannon. How good the big balls are against the Sense?
Fucking
it's
great, man.
really good. It's huge
It just
damage.
drops the behemoth like bloody nothing else. And like the Kraken is squishy, it'll deal with that in 3 or 4 shots, and then just good single target versus demon.
Then it's probably just a S plus, seriously. But well,
I feel like it's the
you have
same tier as
everything. You
Phantom.
have,
I
you have
really do.
demon killer. You have a clear ability. It's OP.
I feel like either this goes here or this goes here. I really think they're on the same
It's
sort
fine.
of level.
I like this way. Yeah.
Is this okay for you guys?
Yeah.
Alright, fair enough. Moving on then to turret.
Yeah, I can take the turret.
Yep.
So it's useful on 12. It's a scent killer on 14 and has some use 16 and 21. So it's B tier for me just.
Oh, B tier! No, it's never as good as the rest. Okay, I agree with all what you said, but
Yeah, it's important 14. I'm always happy to build, even when your value is, I don't know, too low, maybe 2,800 value, you can fully clear your scent 14. And yeah, 16 is good. It's really good 12, one of the best 12 units. And yeah, for the other levels, it's dead value. But it's, yeah, for me it's B tier.
I'm sad to see this with the sprite and the rest. I don't know what you guys think.
It's hard for me because Nile is right. Like, there's no other way of saying it. Nile is 100% right. But I also agree with Moa that it's like, are you really with like Sprite and Wagon and Captain and I just feel like it should be C just because it's not as good as these.
Yeah, well, it's strong. Is it really stronger than Aqua? I mean, on 14, for me, Aqua is way better on 14. It's better. Turret is better on 12, and better 16. Yeah.
I don't
think
even know.
turret is better than Aqua 14.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
turret
when you-
kills the
when you go
gargoyles.
value, turret has more use.
For sure, turret is way better than Aqua.
And turret's better than Aqua 20. Alright, maybe we'll leave it B tier for now.
Because
It's
they.
difficult to compare these because the other units are really good for one level, like Sprite or Spectre, and then we have one unit.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. But still, I want to know why it's better on 14 than Aqua.
Because it kills gargoyles.
Yeah. Okay.
I would
Okay.
rather have a lane that leaks half of the Tuskers and none of the Sens than a lane that leaks
Yeah, that's
the
true.
Sens
That's
and
really
like
right.
one Tusker.
Yeah, you're right.
Right, moving on then. Mr. Crab. Does anyone have a use for him? I think he's just here. Yeah.
Oh no, not E tier for sure. E tier, because that's a nice tank. When you have some spare gold, I always build it, and you can even if the other team don't send, you can sell him and build another unit later. So for me, it's like Raider or Gate Guard. Not that good as a tank, but you can sell it. So that makes up for it.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I guess it's the same deal as early game. It's like you spend 9 gold to have 400 health, extra health in front. Yeah, okay, that's fair for me then. Alrighty, everyone sort of okay with that?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Alright, onto Mermaid. I might take this one. For me, this is an S tier unit. I think the aura is super, super good with any sort of tanky frontline, and I think that the shield is still really insane even if you're playing with squishier units, because then you'll be using a wall clog and the shield is awesome on the wall clog. So I think it's an S tier unit. I think it's super, super good support.
Yeah. Fine. For me, it's between S and A, so yeah. Yeah. I like it.
I think it's better than Ice Troll for me.
Depending on your setup. But
Yeah,
in general,
I mean
agree.
in general
I think
better
it's
than Ice Troll.
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Yeah,
Sounds like we're all sort of happy. Priest. That fine?
As DPS are actually okay on 20. Like, it's Madman who told me this like 1 year ago, and I tested it, and the DPS are fine on 20. If you have nothing, it's one single target magic, so for me it's E. But any other level, it's trash.
Mudman knows what he's talking about. I haven't seen it ever myself, but I'm willing to sort of trust his word. And at the end of the day,
I
like,
didn't trust him either, but seriously, I tried it and it worked. It works.
at the end of the day, I mean, you're right. It is single target magic damage, which is what you're looking for, kind of on 20. All right, I can live with it on E tier. You guys fine with that?
Yep.
I mean, it's not like we're putting it on Sprite level or something. All right, moving on. Prisoner. Who wants to take this one?
I'd like to take this one because I think it's a bit underrated. Because you can snipe the Behemoth, you can snipe the Inferno. The DPS are still okay. The unit is not so good, but like on 15, if you have ADs, you do a couple of Maverick, like you have Spectre or anything, you can do pretty good. For me, it would be, well, it's bad on 14, it's bad on 21, it's bad on 20. The main utility is 15 and 17. For me, it's a B.
For me, it's a CT unit. I think whenever you're building Maverick, it's because you don't have something much better. And I think it's just okay every level because of the chaos damage, but I think it's just always below average. And I don't think the fact that it's always below average and not any worse makes it average for me.
Yeah, I agree on that. I don't know how to explain, but they move very weird. So I don't know.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and
Well, sometimes it snipes the sand, sometimes it doesn't snipe. So yeah, if you consider strictly the DPS, it's not really good.
I think its niche is that the chaos damage means it doesn't suck on any level, which means you can use it as a damage dealer on any level, but you're never building Maverick and going sweet, this is primo anti any level. It's no. It's always just well, I wish I had this, but I have Maverick, so I'll build Maverick. But it's not terrible, for sure it can be used. Are we all sort of happy with it on C?
It looks a bit weird that turret is over Maverick, I have to agree on that. But yeah, it makes sense somehow.
I think it also makes sense. Because turret's actually genuinely good on a few levels.
For me, in mid-game, it's as good as Spectre, pretty much. That's why I consider it B.
We
can maybe keep that in mind and discuss later when we have the full list and see if it's alright.
Yeah, and I just want to point out we've also been bashing on Spectre quite a bit, so maybe it needs to move down. We can revisit that though later.
That's true.
Right, moving on to Outcast. Anyone want to take this? Or I'll take it. I'm going to put Outcast on D tier. It has some use on 17, but it's not good. And then it has some use as a dumb frontline, but it's not good. So that's why I would put it D tier. I think it's Wolverine level.
I have no clue how good or bad it is on 17.
It's absolutely bad, but sometimes you have nothing better.
Yeah, but if you consider it as a dumb tank, for me it's the same level as Raider or Gate Guardian. I mean, on 15 it's super bad. I don't know the DPS in 17. Never build this unit.
Yeah, I'm also more in E tier.
Okay, I can see it being an E tier then. That's fine. Yeah, I mean it's bad without a doubt. So, and actually, yeah, Wolverine. If you already have Wolverines, you just sort of keep going them, and then they're not even that bad on 14, 15, 18, 17, 18. If you have good value, they can function. Yeah, right. That's fine then. All right, moving on. Troll Fighter. Who wants to take this?
I can take it. I think it's one of the best auras in game for your setup late game. I think it's even better than Highborn, so
I
S
agree.
plus maybe.
Yeah, I'm happy to see it there. I think it's super useful on every single level. Gives attack speed, which is always good, and movement speed, which is super helpful on range levels and with melee units.
Yeah.
Yep. I like it. Right, moving on. Tree of Travel. I might take this one. I think Slow Aura is absolutely just insane on every single melee level. If you have no frontline, you can build one of these Slow Aura towers and it works as a solo frontline. And this thing even has the niche if you're running a melee sort of army and you want to build for a ranged level. The movement speed is crazy. It can really help on a couple of levels with that, so I think this is just one of the best units on every single level, without a doubt, as a support.
Yeah, completely
Agree. And on 15, unupped with Time Stealer, it's crazy good.
Yep. Yeah. Right, cool. Sounds like you all agree. Moving on. shall we just say that slower and slower are as good as each other?
Yeah, I
No,
thought
because you don't have the unlocked version.
Or is Magma
Yeah, well,
a bit
2T
worse?
is better for sure. It's pretty close to be S++ though. Yeah, S+ is fine for me for Magma.
Okay.
slightly weaker than the Todd. You don't have the speed aura, and the slow aura is the range is not so big, so yeah. It's fucking strong, but maybe just S+.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. I do want to just make a little distinction that the strong slower works much better on flying levels because the creeps tend to clog together more. So this is like this slower is better on our flying, but otherwise, I can see it. Doesn't have the utility of the tree. Right, cool. Moving on. Flying machine. Who wants to take this one?
I can go
Yeah.
ahead. Oh, Nilla, you want?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the strongest auras also, so I'm not sure if it's S+ or S++. Yeah, it's the ranged aura. Okay, you put it S+, that's fine for me.
I just have to hold my mouse button down while I'm hovering it here, so my finger's getting tired.
So, okay. Yeah, but S+ is fine. It's one of the strongest auras, and yeah, it's not dying so quickly like Cap. That's very important, and yeah, it's
I
very
think
strong.
it's,
So also
I
have
think it's
to
even S++.
Yeah, but you need to have some range setup. I mean, okay, it's insane if you have the range setup, but you need to have it still. So I think
Yeah,
for
but
this
it,
room, it's only
but
S++.
for an aura, 70% of the games end on 15, and for an aura, it has insane DPS for a really important level. So for me, if I have it, if I have nothing else, I even build mass helicopters.
I
Yeah, but
can
if you have
see it being
CS,
up here.
if
I can
you have
actually see
CS,
it being up here. You're definitely correct. That in terms as an aura unit, it's one of the best like base stats of all the auras for sure. And then, it's obviously got the caveat that you don't build it if you don't have a ranged army, but then you just don't build it, and that's fine. But otherwise, I guess it's just insane, no?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
on it's 16, it's good as well. I like it.
Yeah. And I think it's so rare that you're playing without ranged units anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, even all the YOLO are range units. Most of the YOLO, so yeah, yeah. Okay, sure.
And it's it's Demon Killer, as Moa said, most of the YOLO's ranged units, so you tend to have even 600-700 value of range. I think it's completely fine to build it in the back, because it's good versus Sens.
Yeah.
Right, moving on. Do we need to discuss this, or is it just here?
It's just there.
Yeah.
It's just there, yeah.
Percentage damage, percent health, percent max health damage to every creep. It's about as insane as it sounds. Even hits Demon Kraken Behemoth. This thing, if you calculate the damage, it can do silly amounts of damage, 1,000 odd DPS easily for 300 gold. Yeah, it's crazy. Alrighty.
Yeah, also the Necrolite for 20 when you have melee, it has so much use.
Yeah, that's true. It's good single target damage as a Necrolite. It's not even just the Ghost, even though the Ghost is bullshit. Right, Obliteration Dragon. I might pop this one in E tier. Slight usage for 13 and 21, but overall weak.
Did someone try up dragons for 21?
I've tried them a few times, never with a good setup. So,
okay.
But they didn't look particularly good to me. It was just slow, yeah.
Yeah,
I never tried. Was just curious.
Yeah, it worked not so good for me when I tried it 21, but I also don't have the best setup, so yeah.
Yeah. There's some small possibility that we just haven't explored them enough on 21 and they're a D tier unit, but I don't think so. Alrighty, moving on. Who wants to take the Overseer?
I'll take it.
Yeah,
For
go.
me, it's a C. I mean, you most of the time never upgrade it from 11 to 21. Yeah, it's good with TS, with blasters, with Grey. What else?
PD.
Yeah, it's okay with PD indeed.
I don't mind it with Goliath.
Yeah.
For me, it's kind of same level like Captain.
I think it's worse than
130
Captain.
gold, it's fine. And yeah, that's it.
Well, you need the setup for it. I mean, Captain will be good with anything pretty much, but indeed, if you have the setup for it, it's better than Captain. But most of the time, you don't have the setup. It's also good on some anti-14 setup, like if you go cyborgs or blasters and shits. Yeah, for me, Captain is still better than this.
I think
Most of the
Captain
time.
is better as well.
Yep.
Usable with melee. Even it's interesting there's like such a difference between these two, but firstly this aura is much better, this as a unit is much better, and I think it's far more common to play a mix of melee and ranged than full melee. And it's far more common to play full ranged than full melee as well, I think.
Agree.
Problem is that when one unit gets attacked by a Sand, it dies so quickly, whatever that is, when a demon attacks, I don't know, it just dies with some hits, and then the use of this aura is nothing, and the damage auras do way more.
Yep.
I agree
Yeah,
completely, which is a problem our next mate also sort of comes into, but where would we put the young witch doctor?
I would put it to the Ice Troll.
Yeah, agreed.
I would put it in C tier too, because as I explained, it's the same problem. When it heals, it can't heal so much, because when a unit gets attacked, they instantly die, kinda.
It depends on your setup.
I agree with you, Nilay. I don't think it's better than Captain, personally. So I would put it with Captain in the B tier. I think it's a nice aura that's usable in every comp. I think the upgraded one is still trash. I think the small one is still pretty useful. I don't think it's better than Captain though.
Not sure. The
And
Captain
why?
just runs in front and dies.
Young Witch Doctor
when
is
it
really
stays
good on
alive.
6.
Oh, Nick. Yo.
Hello, yo.
Hello,
Welcome, Nikki. Have you been sort of listening for a bit? Do you have an idea?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
But somehow I can see your stream. Okay, now it works.
But if you compare it to Captain, the aura range of the Captain is really small, and it dies fast. When the Young Witch Doctor aura will be effective on pretty much all your lane, and during the whole turn before it dies. But indeed, it's a defensive aura, and it's always better to have offensive aura. So for me, it's still better than Captain. I don't know if it's 8 tier still.
Is this from level 1 to 10 or?
This
It's
is from
from-
11 to 21.
Yeah, it's a tough choice then.
For me, it's never 8 tier, because it can heal the backline when they have no damage. Has no influence. So, yeah.
I agree with you, Nilla. I don't think it's good enough to be A tier, but I do think it's Captain level, and I do think when you have it, you always build it, and it's always like helps you a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. For 100 gold, it's very... Yeah, it's good for 100 gold. That's true. So,
Agreed.
but you also never up it for 20. So, or before late game, let's say. Before late game, you never up this unit because it's just not good enough.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, it's so cheap. So I mean, okay, when you said like the demons are attacking a unit and then it just died and you don't have the heal utility, still you have all the creeps who are pretty much doing some damage of every of each unit of your front line. So, but your backline, yeah, it's useless for your backline. But I don't know, it's so cheap, aura. So
Yeah. But when we see it from another point, when you think how much the Witch Doctor heals for level 15 maybe, I think the captain does more damage for your team than the Witch Doctor heals for your team. In whatever level, maybe 15, maybe 17, whatever.
But what's when you have Hydras? I mean, first the young witch doctor heals your Hydra, and then your 3 summons.
Atata, we're not going too specific here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but it's fine.
I think
I
it's
think
a DT unit. I think it's
the
bang
damage-
on average.
Sorry,
Nice on
sorry.
every roll, but never that high impact. Sorry, go on, Nikki.
I think the damage Captain does gives more healing than the healing Young Witch Doctor do. If that makes sense.
Well, I think B is fine. Okay,
Right.
okay.
I'm gonna use my host powers here and just say this is staying in B tier for now because we've spent enough time on it. It's just a bloody aura. Alright,
Okay.
moving on. Tempest. Anyone want to sort of take this?
I can do it. Tempest. Yeah, 1 useless level. 17. If you must it unupped. Otherwise, I wouldn't even consider building it. Maybe put it in D or C. D or C. One good level and that's it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bit of a shame. I think it's more a D tier because you're right, it has 1 good level. It should be good at sniping behemoths, but the problem is it has so little range that it pretty much will always be dead before it gets a chance to hit the behemoth. If it had like 150, 200 more range, then I think it would be B tier. But unfortunately it dies before it can help you kill behemoths, which means it's only good on fortified levels, and there are only 2 of those, 11 and 17, and only 1 of them is relevant. So I think it's D tier for me.
Yep.
Yep.
Alrighty. You guys seem okay with that, so moving on. Mudman. Are we just going here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
for
done
sure.
then. Yeah, okay. I mean, for me, it's pretty comparable to Rider. Oh, no, never mind. There is some. Okay. It's fine on F.
It's kind of comparable to this, but I feel like this is better.
Okay, yeah, right.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
next
put it in F.
Yeah, he's not good. Alrighty, moving on. Medicine Man. Anyone sort of want to take this?
F.
Really?
It's F.
I don't
No,
think F, no
that's
way.
some utility, man. It's a tricky one, but
It's not good, but I don't think you'd never use it.
Well, if you have Griffin Man or
for me, it's like with Hydra or any
yeah.
huge tier 6, like no, not ADs, not Tox. Maybe the tier 6 pirates it can be good with.
But then you just build more tier 6 instead of Oracle. For me, it's that value until 21.
yeah, but if
and
you have
then
like 300 gold, it can be good. It depends. I mean, if you can build an extra tier 6, having this can be okay. Yeah.
then 270 gold, Oracle.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's not F. Like it's.
I think it's E
E or E.
something.
For me, it's E tier. I think you consider building this on 20, not on 20 honestly, because the damage is too focused. I think you consider building this on 21 if you have a few big tanky tier 5s or tier 6s. Otherwise, I would stay away.
Okay, yeah, right. Yep.
Cool. Moving on. Drunk Pirate. I actually want to take this one. I'm going to put this. I think it could be A. I'm going to put it on B tier. So, this unit has unupgraded. It has an AoE spell that does a little bit of damage, which is kind of irrelevant mid-game, and -1 armor, which can be nice. But the upgraded one, it has a -2 armor aura around itself. It is a small range aura, but I think it's still a relatively useful aura if you have other things that will tank for it, so it doesn't immediately die, because it does kind of have Captain Syndrome in that it's squishy and dies pretty quick a lot of the time. You can also ignite its saber, I think it is, for 60 extra magic damage, which gives it a bit of a niche on level 15. Have gone mid with it on level 15, but I think that was far more down to luck than anything else. But I still think it has an application like every level with that, or at least every melee level with that armor aura, and a little bit of an extra sort of boost that it's potential, like you can just mass them on 15 and they're not the worst.
I tried it several times, but I think B is too good for it. I feel the attack speed is too low.
The attack speed is too low.
So you ignite it and it just dies too fast. It doesn't. It's not worth. For me, it's not a B.
Yeah, for me it's a C too. I think the unupgraded one is really like you don't want it any level pretty much.
Yeah,
the upgrade one is 2k at attack speed. On 14, I doubt this is even.
I don't consider it an anti-14 unit. I consider it better. I think it's better on 15 than 14, and I don't think it's that great on either.
But the DPS are still pretty low.
Yeah, I said I don't think it's good on either.
Yeah.
Okay, I can.
Any other level, it's really bad. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But the aura sort of keeps it in relevance where you.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting into late you still build one. Okay, that's fair. Is that fine for you as well, Nilla?
Yeah, as I said before, I'm not so into these new units, but when I played it, it felt not really good. So I'm fine with C.
Yeah. So, yeah, the only reason I went mid, I went mid, bloody hell, when I tried it was I had Solar Villain, this thing, and Ascendant, and all three of them started attacking the Behemoth, and it was like -12 armor. And it just super quick snipe on the Behemoth. It was like 2 seconds and dead. So that's the only reason I held. But yeah, I think the armor is relevant. But yeah, I can see it being C tier. Alright, moving on. Zombie, where is Ace?
It's for you, Nikki.
What was that, Moa? Sorry?
It's for Nikki. Nikki's still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Take it.
I don't know, it's really bad. I have no clue, man. You guys can I'm just listening.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, that's hard to be honest. I'm also not sure. Oh, yeah, I would. It's just a feeling, but I think it's B tier now. With the auras, you can always build one, and yeah.
I like it actually. It has damage reduction aura. It has huge HP. When you build it, next to Tox, next to Hades, it's insane. But not as good as Spitters or Captains. So I think C is good, but I like it more than Drunken Pirates. So it's quite hard.
It has TK armor.
Yeah, for me, two problem. It's medium armor, so it's really bad 15, and you steal the HP from the other unit, so better not steal a frontline unit HP, because you just turn it into medium armor, which is bad. And the aura is good indeed, but the range is really
small.
It's really small, yeah, so...
Yeah, but I have a question. The units... the zombie steals the HP. they get like
10%.
right.
Yeah, 10%.
Yeah, so it's kind of good for the ranged units because when they get attacked, they already have filled up their HP again. So when you build it for Hades, for example, they instantly gain HP regeneration.
Haha, I've got a counter argument for you, Nello, there. If you're building this next to range units, you're building it in the back. This thing has like 220 range. So if you're building it behind other melee units, it will not tank anything. It won't share any damage.
Yeah, that's why I said Hades. For Hades and Hydra,
Yeah,
it
Hades
might
and
be
Hydra.
really good because that are ranged tank units.
On top, it's really good because the Togs just have less HP, they just die, and then you have like a 4k HP tank left when the Togs are dead. So
Yeah, but do you want
that's
a
quite good.
unit with stocks? I mean, do you want a zombie with stocks? You just want backline.
Sometimes you have no choice.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I think going Pudge and Tuck for 7 is fine, but not after is not really good.
I think it's a C just for me, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
never
I think it's
really
okay to
zombie.
see.
Okay.
Yeah.
It definitely has its uses, but I'd say it's difficult to use, inconsistent, and like, yeah. But you know, it's not bad. It can be a good tank. Nightmare, are we just down here?
Yeah,
Just
Yeah.
Alright, moving on. Cyborg. Who wants to take this? Alright, I'll
I
take
can
it.
take it.
I'll take it.
Okay,
For
go
me,
for it.
if we're putting turret in B tier, I also want Cyborg in B tier. It's really good on 12, really good on 14, and then I would say it functions reasonably well for its value as a dumb tank on 15, 17.
Yeah, and it has good armor type.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Yeah, it's pretty reasonable each level except 16.
Yeah.
I think it dies a bit too fast on 21 for it to really be relevant, and useless on 20,
Yeah.
but 11 to 17, it has like 2 weak levels, and the rest of them it's completely fine. Alrighty,
Fine.
cool. Moving on. Who wants to take Greymane?
Yeah, I can take the Grey Man. I think we all love and hate the Grey Man because sometimes he just goes into retarded mode and runs
Yeah.
and want to hit the low HP units, but the base stats are insane. And when you get a nice build, the damage output is so good. So yeah, B tier.
Yeah, it's also one food upgrade. It's really nice.
I'm happy with that in B tier. Yep.
Yeah.
Just, I guess it's
Another B tier.
I guess it's similar to Cyborg, but it's like a bit better on some levels and maybe a little bit worse on like 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, Blaster, is this going?
Good blood, yeah.
Yeah.
These three are function very similarly, I suppose. Cavalier, does it go with these four? Is it the fourth?
I think it goes
No,
one or
never,
two down.
never.
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 It's
One
never
or two
here.
down.
I hate Cavalier. Is it C tier?
Oh, for me, it's even D tier.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's only utility. Okay, utility on 12 and 14. It's really bad. For me, it's a really bad tank on 15 and 17. And on 4, yeah, okay, it's pretty. Could be C tier. I don't know. It's still not so good. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
For me, just a D tier, seriously.
I feel
I
like
agree.
it's D tier as well. It's not a very good tank. Like the hardened armor thing, I don't even know if it works properly. I feel like I don't even notice it. It has fast movement speed, which I think is actually a negative. I mean, it makes it, I guess it's kind of nice on 12. But you compare it to Blaster, right? Blaster has to take time to do its ability, which means it won't get too far away from your range units. Won't get too far away from your backline auras. It won't run really far off the wall. It won't run into range of the demon so often. Cavalier will do all these things. It's like, you know that troll fighter you've got in the back? It's like, yep, see ya, don't want that aura. I think it just doesn't function very well. I don't like the unit. Is that fine for
Yeah.
everyone?
Yep, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Cool. We have our Cavalier hatred out of the way. Awesome. Who wants to take the next unit? Ship.
It's a hard one. Remy, go take it.
Okay, I think it's decent all levels. Past 10. It pulls creeps with okay damage. You need backline with DPS. Otherwise, it's quite useless because it's only just for time. But in general, I'm always happy to have it in my role, and I would put it S plus or S plus plus. It's a really good unit.
I agree completely. I'm also not sure where it goes. By the way, it almost feels like there needs to be S+++ for Ghost, but no. It's everyone knows it's the best.
I think the nerf on it is really reasonable.
Yeah, part of the thing that makes me want to put it in S++ is that it's just so insane on 20. Like, it's good on all these other levels, as you've mentioned. It can get, like, bullshit holds out of nowhere where it decides, like, oh, see that demon over there? Yeah, I'm gonna have you. And then, like, it's insane on 20 with the drag. You need damage, but I think it's
Yeah,
here.
without a DPS backline, you are just nothing. Or I often see people building just haters and ships. That sucks as well. So you really need damage towers, or it's useless.
Yeah, I agree. For me, this is worse on its own than Hades on its own, but I think it's very comparable, and I think it's up here. I really do. I think it's just such a catch-all for every level.
Yeah, but do you think harpooning the sands is good with the unit? I mean,
If you bloody kill them immediately, it absolutely
yeah,
is.
it's not if you kill them or not.
But
Uh,
yeah,
It can also be disaster if you hook it and it just attacks your backline.
pull the
well,
Infernal
it's
into the
either-
Spectres.
It's either super good or disaster, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Right,
Yeah,
maybe
but
it's...
in general, it's good on all levels.
I once had ship. Ben yesterday built ship behind, and he pulls Infernal into all his revenants.
Well, if
I want to see the tier 6 to decide if it's S plus or S plus plus. I want to see the original tier 6. How we rate them.
what do you tend now? S plus or S plus plus?
For me, it would be S plus.
Okay.
But
yeah,
it's close.
yeah, I guess it's probably S plus.
Yeah, because the RNG factor is always there.
Yeah, it can be inconsistent, can just be like super useless as well. I think part of the problem is this thing has, the actual ship itself has too much range. Makes it kind of hard to position it.
Yeah.
For me, like, sometimes, like, you kind of want it to tank for your backline, but it doesn't always want to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that honestly might hurt it a little bit as well. Like, I've seen a few times now where people have, like, it looks like they're doing super well, and then it's like 4 or 5 ships versus like a demon and a kraken, and it just doesn't do any damage if there's nothing else alive. Yeah, I'm thinking S plus. Is that okay for all of you guys?
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm fine with it.
It's a great unit without a doubt. Alrighty, moving on then.
So, before you move on, I have to leave you now at this point, but I'm sure you do find next towers. So, yeah, guys,
See you,
and
Nils.
No worries.
See you
Appreciate
later.
it very much, Nilo.
Bye.
Thank you for all your help.
yeah, was fun. Bye bye.
So yeah,
Bye bye.
alrighty. Moving on in that case to Disciple. So we can obviously have a chat about this after we finish and go back and do any revisits. He can give his input. And I can
Yeah.
edit that in at the end. Anyway, Disciple. Thoughts on this?
I'm okay to take it. It's really good clear on 15. I think some people disagree. I don't know what you guys think about it, but
I think
for
it's
me,
good clear on 15.
yeah, like for me, it's pretty comparable to Hellraiser on 15. So it's okay. 13 if you have the front line. I think on 14 it's not so bad.
I like it on 14 with some units because it can start to kill gargoyles. So with things like Tok, with things like Turret, I think it actually functions on 14. Like I've seen a dude with like 3 Disciples and 3 Toks. He leaked a couple of creeps, but he killed all the gargoyles because the Disciple missiles. Where are we putting it though?
Oh, it's so dependent on your setup.
is.
When you have Hydras or PD and you can clear your lane, but then you lack some demon killers, then it sucks again. So, but in general, it's a good clear.
It's a B or a C, but I don't know which one.
Yeah, I would rather put it in C.
I think it's more a C for me. And let's not forget as well, it upgrades into a unit that gives your army mana regeneration as an aura. Generally not going to be useful, but if you have things like Hellraiser or some other spell-based units, it can. I would say with Hellraiser is the only time I would build it for like 14, 15. Otherwise I might think about getting it for like 20, 21. Not a great aura, but can be useful if you have the right units for it.
You sure it works with Hellraiser?
It absolutely works with
Yeah,
Hellraiser.
it works.
Okay, good to know.
It's not a big DPS increase though, and I would say I would want at least 8 Hellraisers before I thought about upgrading this.
Okay.
For me at least. Unless I had however many Hellraisers and I also wanted a bit of extra single target damage in the back. And then it does both. But yeah, it does work. Anyway, moving on. Harlot, I think we're just going here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good any level. Next, Time Stealer.
I'm not so sure about Harlot. Is it okay on 14?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Like,
This pierce damage is so shit.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
I would rather build Nightmares for 14 than Harlots.
Okay.
But I don't want to build either of them. Anyway, Time Stealer. Who's got a thought about this?
Go ahead, Epic.
Right, I'll take it then. It's the Melee Revenant.
Yeah. But
Only good 15.
No, actually, it's here.
18 as well.
I like it 20, seriously.
Actually, yeah, for me it's not an A tier unit, and can I just explain why quickly? Revenant mixes in super well with like any front lines, things like that. You have your build and then you put Revenants and it works really well. I feel like Time Stealer does not do that nearly as well. You've got things like, say, Blaster or Greymane. Time Stealer does not play nicely with other units. It really doesn't. It runs in front, it dies, it has a tantrum, and it sort of sits out without doing much damage. So I only really like Time Stealer if I have like only Time Stealer, and maybe like a little bit of support like a Slow Aura or something like that. I think otherwise it's a bit weaker than even Sprite, but if you have like pure Time Stealer, it is the strongest 15 hull, without a doubt.
Yeah. Agree.
Fine.
Feels kind of harsh to put it there considering how strong it is, but it's just very specific, I feel like. Whereas all the units above it, and honestly most of the units on the same tier, just work better with other units. For me at least. This is very like self-synergizing. It's a little like Wolverine in that sense, but actually good on 15. Right, anyway, if that's fine for all you guys.
Yeah.
Who wants to take Mr. Goliath then?
1 second, I'm back.
Okay, I will take it then.
Yeah, go.
I think it's a B. It's really good. If you match them only for 17. The aura is really good. If you have frontline most of the time, yeah, it's just a B. Yeah.
I think it's better than that.
You think it's A?
I was thinking S, then I
Oh.
thought no, it's an A.
Okay.
My toss up was between S and A, not between A and B. So I think the armor aura is like very, very valuable. I think it functions better as a frontline for like 15 than a lot of these units. Synergizes really well with other melee, which these units don't do, and then just frontlines for ranged. So I think it's just a really good catch-all as a frontline. I think it's probably the best frontline that's not a summon or a slow aura or a talk or a hydra.
Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. Well, just for me, on 15, usually not worth it. Well, no, it depends actually. Okay.
It's not
yeah.
great on 15, I agree with you, but it's good on 17. It's great like
it's
21
insane.
or so afterwards, and it's completely fine to add 1 or 2 if you have other melee, or 1 or 2 if you need frontline.
Yeah, fine. Okay.
Good unit for me. Right, moving
Okay,
on.
Right.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Good. Half-breed and A tier. What are you? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's good tank, good aura. Maybe it's even S tier. Yeah, it's really, it's a really good unit. Yeah, 420 gold for 15 is a bit much, but if you have a good melee setup, I would even consider it for 15. So maybe it's even S tier.
Yeah. Mo was sort of thinking B to A, I was thinking A to S. I think A is fine for it.
Yeah.
I don't think the aura's like as sort of catch-all as say a Highborn, which is in S tier. But it is like really good with melee and can function by itself as a frontline if you have nothing else.
Yeah, and 420 gold is a lot for 15 already.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, usually on 15, you're like, you don't wanna add it as a tank, except if you have a lot of melee units already. But when you have a lot of melee units already, you probably want DPS. So yeah, I think. But the aura is the unit is insane 17, and on 21 it's OP also, and sometimes you build it for 15. But yeah, I don't think.
I agree with you guys that it's not.
Good add for each setup. General.
Yeah, I agree with you guys that it's not the best on 15, but I think it slots really well into like so many builds on so many levels. It's not the primo choice for 15, but if you're, as you said, lacking that DPS, then like this is pretty decent. Alright, are we sort of happy with that? Sorry if I talked over you guys then. I don't know if you had something else to add. Okay. Moving on then to Apparition. Do you want to take that one then, Rummy?
No.
Okay.
I don't know where I should put it. I never built it pre-21.
I'm going to put this unit in E tier.
It's all about 21, yeah.
I think it doesn't function before 20, but it's okay on 20 and 21 for the minus damage aura, but it's still a really weak body, and
A lot of gold.
Yeah, expensive and it's not a great aura either. Like, you can use it, but it's not great. I would not build this for 20 or 21 if I actually had good units to build.
Yeah,
I agree.
Right.
it's insane aura in late game, but yeah.
Yeah. Scales
Even
up.
on 20, it's not so good. I like 21, just.
Yeah, it does.
I mean,
it does scale
the
better as
range
the game goes.
is low, so it gets snipe also now on 20 a bit. If you have.
No, it has
after
decent range,
you
I think. I think it's like 500 odd range, so I think it tends to stay safe-ish if you've got melee. Alright, moving on then. Druid. Who wants to take this one?
I can do it.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, you want it? You want to take it?
No. Go for it,
Okay.
Remy.
Okay, in general, I think Druid is a really good tower from 11 to 21. It's good 20 if you must Druids. You can hold 17 with Master of Elements when you have a good value. The Ascendant is really good on each level for sniping the Sens, the big ones, and the minus armor, and good damage at all. Probably an S or an A tier.
I feel like it's an S tier. Ascendant being good on every level, Master of Elements being a workable front line on a lot of levels, and it's really good on 17, and it's really good on 18 as well, which is a level we haven't talked much about because it's not the greatest level, but I think this Master of Elements is, honestly, I think it's one of very few units that is really strong on 17 and really strong on 18. Which I think is kind of a nice niche for it.
Yeah, fine. But one thing about Ascendant, okay, it's good indeed, but you need to have a strong value to build it, in my opinion, most of the time, because it costs so much. It's a great demon killer, but you need the value for it. Yeah, it's still a S. Yeah, right. Because it's insane 20, yeah, and great 17. Yeah, okay.
And I think it's just fine in general as backline damage after 15 or after 17 really. Just massing druids, I think it does completely fine on like 21 as well. It's not primo, but they just have high DPS.
Yeah.
Good unit without a doubt. Right, moving on to Wyvern. So I might take this one. So Wyvern is not too bad on 12, not too bad on 16, not too bad on 21. But medium armor, not good. Changes its target, which I would say is in general a negative, especially on like 14, 15, 17. I'm going to put this in C tier. I think it has some uses, but in general I wouldn't build it too often.
I don't think changing targets, it's a big issue in mid game, but still, yeah, it's a weak unit.
Yeah, Rider is good 12 and 21.
Yeah,
that's it.
I gotta take like 10 seconds off if you just keep speaking to keep everyone entertained. I'll be back in like 10 seconds.
Okay. I'm not sure on 14 if it still snipes the gargoyles with the new range. I didn't test it.
I just dislike the pierce damage on 14.
Yeah, but it's all about sniping the gargoyles or not.
No, I don't think they snipe the gargoyles.
Yeah, so it's good. Yeah, it's good 12. It's good 16. It's good 21. Could be B tier then.
Yeah, it could be B. On 20, when you don't get a mass send, it's also good DPS. I mean, you don't mid normally, but you leave really damaged bosses to mid.
Yeah, but Pierce against heavy armor, I'm not a big fan though.
Yeah, but the poison is also not so bad.
Yeah.
It could be a B tier.
Well, problem is on the main level, on 15, it's pretty bad, and if you fight with your backline against demon, it's gonna indeed change the target. But still, I mean, if you need the send killers, it can work. For me, it's a B.
Yeah, I can agree on that.
So we think B tier?
Yeah, because of 12, 16, 21.
Yeah, I was here for like the last 30 seconds or so. It was just good stuff going on, so I thought I'd let you say it. Okay, yeah, I don't mind Wind Rider B tier. I actually quite like the unit. It's just, it does feel pretty bad on a lot of levels. Alrighty, moving on. Wendigo.
Yeah.
That fine?
If you have two options, you can just must them on up for 14, and that's probably it.
Yeah. I think we're joining it there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just TK after 7 this unit, man.
Yeah.
On 14, it's not even good. It's worse than Kava on 14.
Yeah.
100% sure.
The flat damage on the wave, like anything with flat damage is going to get worse as the game goes on and the creeps get more health. Anything with percentage damage is going to get better as the game goes on and the creeps get more health. So flat damage on the wave, it just gets super useless. When Krakens start to appear, the Krakens will just heal all the damage from the wave. Like, I think the last useful level this thing has is 14, and I don't think it's very good on 14.
Yeah, Kava is better than this 14 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that fine for you, Rami?
Yeah, completely.
Awesome. So moving on, who wants to take the Lord of Death?
S++.
In mid-game, yeah. Well, yeah, okay, it's a tank you want in mid-game, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. S++, it's just so good. It's very comparable to Ship, but I do think it's better.
Yeah. Sucks 12, the rest, it's so good.
Yeah. And yeah, the thing I want to say that makes it better than Ship is if you have LOD with no other units to build versus Ship with no other units to build, LOD will do much better than Ship.
Yeah,
Ship
agree.
is comparable as a tank, but LOD has much better overall, just is able to damage more, won't pull things into itself and then go, oh, I have no damage, so I just die to this Infernal I pulled in all my backline. So yeah, I think, yeah, it's just so good. Like, as he said, there's one weak level, and then it's good every other level. It's just ridiculous. Alright, moving on. Dragonhawk. Who wants to take this?
Hard one, really hard one.
I'll take it
I can
then.
take it.
Oh yeah, you
for
go.
it.
I'll take it.
Okay, I'll take it.
It's mine. It's going in A tier for me. So, this unit is good on 12, pretty decent on 13, super bad on 14. It can work on 15 with the right amount of support, but I think it's on the slightly expensive side, so I wouldn't say it's as good as Revenant. I wouldn't even say it's as good as Thunderbird for 15. However, really good on 16. Better on 17 than a lot of the other magic damage units, just because it will damage 3 targets pretty heavily. So you still feel like you can knock through the golems with high value. It's like whatever on 18, but it's really good on 20 and good on 21 as well. So for me, the strength of this unit isn't 15. The strength of this unit is that, like, if the game goes past 15, it has a lot of good levels. And you can start building it for 15 because it's not too bad there.
Yeah, I think it's one of the units of the game who deals biggest damage. It's 300 damage magic.
Yep.
So yeah, it's good 17 indeed, because any other level you have, well, in the early game and before 17 you have a lot of wasted damage because you just overkill a unit. Not 17, well, units have big HP, so yeah, it's way better than Revenant or Thunderbird for sure. Yeah, it's indeed.
Oh, maybe it's even an S tier because it's okay 15 if you have good tanks, or maybe a Dark Mage that is OP.
You're right.
It's a really good anti-16. It's OP 20. It's OK 21. For me.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
if you compare it to EA, indeed, like, it's better overall.
Yeah.
So you're thinking S tier then?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Really.
That makes sense to me. Alright, moving on then. PD. Who wants to take this one? Moa, you can have it.
Okay.
I'll take it. No, I'm just kidding, it's yours.
Well, since the nerf, it's still OP. It's insane tank. And for me, just S++. It's not supposed to be so good on 15, but it's still super good. And On 17 it rapes, on 20 it rapes, on 21 it's still a tank, even if it's not really good 21. It's OP on 14 also. It's hard to find level to break this, just range levels to break PD most of the time. So yeah, easy S++ for me.
Agree.
Yeah, I almost want to put it low just because whenever I build this, and the game's going after 15, I'm always thinking like, fuck, if this guy's 21, I have so much dead value or so much weak value. But yeah, it's just so good on so many levels. It has more DPS than Hades, but slightly less, a bit less tanking, but it's very comparable, just super strong.
Yeah, S++, clear for me. Clear
And I
S++.
think the other thing as well, with the weaknesses you mentioned, that like it has weaknesses on, besides 21, a lot of like somewhat weaker levels. So in a 4v4 game, it can be difficult to say like, oh, we'll send on 16 to break the PD because they have, you know, maybe they have a Hydra lane or something like that, or Tox that's just going to go mid on 16. Like, it's not a good option. I feel like that.
Yeah.
I feel like it slots really well into a lot of teams. Anyway, moving on. Spawn of Dragon. Do you want to take this one, Rami, or me?
I can do it.
Yeah.
It's okay on 14 if you don't up it. Upped, it's okay. 13, but also sucks. Normally I try to avoid building it, so it's D or E.
For me,
Yeah,
it's an ET
I'm not-
unit.
Did you try the upgrade one on 21?
I've tried it a few times. I think it's the worst of the dragons on 21, and I think none of the dragons are that good on 21. Yeah, I'd try and stay away from it, as you said. Right, moving on to
Yeah.
Seer of Darkness. For me, this unit gets a D tier. I actually think it's relatively good on 20. It's actually
Super
not
good.
bad on 16, and it starts becoming like not irrelevant around level 21. So I think it has some uses, but it's weak overall.
Oh, for me it's nearly an F.
For me, it's an E. I mean, for me on 21, it's really bad. For me, this unit is good 2 level, it's 20, and on 31 race, it's insane because it's the air unit with the most range of the game. So it acts pretty much like Meridian on 31, it's super good. But for me, it's not good at all on 21, and okay, 16 it can, but still it's bad HP for high cost.
Yeah, okay. Alright,
Yeah.
fair enough. I'm not going to stand up and defend this unit. I'm not going to tell you it's good, because it's not. Right, who's wants to take the Sea Giant then?
I will take it.
Yeah, go.
One of the best tank of the, well, it's same HP as Hades. If you consider all the summons, it's 4k HP, so they are the 2 best tank of the game. It's just S++. I mean, it's never dead value, even if it's magic on 17, it's still useful frontline if you have the DPS with it. It's good pretty much any level. You can just get on. Yeah, okay, it's bad on 13, pretty bad on 14, but you can just have the Sea Giant if you expect a sand. It's insane 20, 21, 15, it's good 16, more than good, and it's good tank 17, yeah, just S++.
Oh, I agree completely. If I've got Mutant and Hydra in my role, I'm building 1 to 2 Hydras. Unless like my setup is full of tanks for a 17, I'm building 1 to 2 Hydras.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just insane. Do you have anything to add, Rami? Or
No,
Yeah.
completely agree.
super good. Right, Moonguard. Thoughts?
Oh god. Robbie, don't say it's good, man. It's not good.
Yeah, man, it's not good. But
Literally.
the only level you can use it for is the Warden on 14. Maybe put it on C or D, maybe even D. But it's
Wow.
better than Kava.
I don't understand how it can be better than Kava on 14 since you just teleport in the backline and you get sniped by gargoyles. I mean, instead of trying to move to your armies, your gargoyles are going to just attack it. For me, it's really bad.
I was huge mid with Wardens already, man. You need to try it again since the buff.
I think Warden is not that bad on 14. The teleport is a lot less suicide-y than it used to be, but I still think it can be a bit problematic. Like, if you have multiple Wardens, I think it gets better, because then if they both blink forwards, they might share damage enough to blink, like, out of the gargoyle range again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's better than Cavalier on 14, and I think it's a worse tank on every other level. But I would stay away from both of them in general. I think that's fair to say. I think, yeah, they're useful-ish on a relatively important level and relatively useless on every other level.
Yep.
I guess if you have...
Yeah, I agree. The stats are probably super good, but just the teleport is just a spell like come and kill me. If the warden is just killing this.
Oh yeah, this is not a unit you want for 15. It's like, you know how that demon sits in the back a bit before attacking? Yeah, Warden makes sure it has something to do. I guess if you have nothing else and you desperately need frontline, you can build like 2 Moon Guards or something, but I would stay away from it. Thing is, this is expensive as well. It's more expensive than Hydra, which is just crazy.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't function very well as a DPS when so much of your gold, is packed into this DPS unit that likes to run forwards and sort of die. Anyway, we'll keep going. So I think we're happy there. Young Frost Dragon or Azzy Dragon, for me, that is an E tier unit. I think it's pretty bad on every level, but it can frontline if you have nothing else.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
I think Rummy's headed off for a bit, so we'll just knock these out because we've only got, what, 8 more to do. Near tank? I want to give it a C tier. What do you reckon?
Well, from 11 to 21, you pretty much only want to build it for 17 as DPS, I guess, because it's not okay. It's decent on 16 also.
Yeah.
But 20, 21 it's bad. 15 it's bad. And the DPS on 17 are not even so good.
Yeah, but I think it's better than the DT units.
Yeah. I don't know, seriously, I don't know.
I don't think it's B tier. I think it is C tier because it's a reasonable option for a couple of fairly important levels, 16 and 17. But it's not close to this. I think it fits in C tier.
Okay, yeah. Well, indeed, because it's okay unit on 16. I agree. Okay, fine.
Alrighty. Where do you think War Chief deserves to go?
War Chief. Pretty. Nah, it's not as good as Cyborg, Grey, and Blasters. So it's still a decent tank. It's still good 12, 14. It's between B and C. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree with you with everything you said, but I think it's B tier just because War Chief fits into AoE setups a lot better than Cyborg, Greymane Blaster, any of that. So I think it's still fine with like more of a single target sort of setup, but I think it fits into AoE setups better than any of these units.
Because
Like,
of
I've
the
seen,
spell?
yeah, because of slam. I've seen some like
Yeah,
big
but
mids
it's
with like
30
war chief.
damage in AoE.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you have,
pretty
say, if
irrelevant.
you have 4 of them, like, you're going to be
Yeah,
doing
it's true.
damage. It helps. It's not a lot of damage, but it is relevant, I think.
I mean, indeed, if you have like EA on 14, you want to you did reroll EA, you want to cover 14. It's better to add a rod shift than adding a blaster.
I've also seen war chief like be mid with fire overlord on 15, and it was just like a whole lot of AoE, and it seemed to go quite well. Something I'll need to test further, but it's, you know, it's if I have that sort of role, I'm gonna try and give that a go.
Yeah, well, it's still a good tank. Yeah.
Right, moving on. Minotaur. I think this is a D tier unit.
Yeah.
It's too, like, the small Minotaur is just pretty bad, basically. The Bigfoot.
No, hi.
Hey, here. What's going on, man? The Bigfoot is too expensive to really be helpful on the levels where it might be good, like 14. And then 20 and 21, it's just kind of bad. 17, I think it's too expensive as well. It sort of gets better again as you go into like 22 onwards. It has some useful levels for sure. So probably if we were going from 11 to 31, I think it picks up to like a C or even B tier. It's a reasonable frontline, but I think for 11 to 21, it's just hard to find use for it. Can be a frontline, but it's expensive.
I think the main problem with this unit is the spell, because you first cast the spell into like you target like 4 or 5 units, and then it dies and you never cast the spell twice. So then you just have the tank ability of the unit, which is not really good. The DPS are pretty shit. So yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the, I guess what you're saying is a lot of the gold for this unit is packed into the spell, which doesn't go off twice normally, and the first time it goes off tends to miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair for sure. Alright. Ig.
Easy.
Yeah. Tok is really strong on every level except for 20. So yeah, we've got a unit with 1 weak level. Yeah. It's probably the best. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, probably the best clear unit of the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the best frontline for 21 as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You can just clear with TK value, and you can clear any sand with 7/7 easily, and you just lick the sands. And if your team wants you as an older, you just don't overpush. You add the back line, and you can adapt for what your team need, either push or either hold. It's probably a bit harder to hold with Tox than AD's Hydra or AOD setup, but yeah, good flexibility. So it's insane in it.
So for me, the weakness of Tok is it doesn't synergize well with melee units because it's slow, gets blocked easily, and has 180 range, I want to say. So a lot of other melee units will run in front. It doesn't synergize very well with them, but I mean, that's the price you pay for having something that has literally 1 weak level out of 12. Like, if we're talking 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21, that's 11 levels, pardon. It has 1 weak level. And every other level is really strong. So, yeah. It's just crazy. It's such a crazy unit. Alrighty, moving on. Guardian of Death. I want to put this C tier. I think it's better anti-14 than Cavalier. I think Death Dragon is very slightly usable on 21, but not very good. And as a dumb frontline, it's better than Moonguard, it's better than Cavalier. It's probably not much better than Minotaur, but like whatever.
Yeah, well, for me it's pretty comparable to Minotaur, so yeah.
Do you reckon
I
D
would,
tier then?
or Minotaur in C tier. I don't know.
No, I don't think
I mean,
Minotaur's
because
C tier.
we talked about the Bigfoot earlier, but I mean, you can sometimes just go for Minotaur as a dump front line, as you would go for Guardian of Death. Because the HP, I don't know, the HP sheet. For me, it goes with the Minotaur, so I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
this probably comes down then.
Yeah, I don't know if the Death Dragon is even okay on 21. Yeah,
No, it's pretty bad.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, might
Just-
wanna. We might have a think about these later with some of the other guys. I'm not 100%, but
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
C
sure.
it's C or D, I think for sure. It's never B. All right. Anyway, moving on. Fire or Flamebeard, I believe he's called. Flamebeard / Fire Overlord. So, do you want to take this one? Where do you reckon he goes?
Yeah, sure. For me, it's S plus, I think. It's really good on 15. I think it's okay 14. I didn't see it much on 14. If you have just one on 17, it's good. It's good on 21. It's either S or S plus for me. But I mean, just one of them is so good pretty much any melee level. So I don't know what you think.
I agree with you. I think he's a good anti-15 unit. And he then has a good aura, which is really helpful on every other level. He fits into AoE setups because of his not only his AoE damage, but the on-death explosion. So he fits into AoE setups really nicely on like every level. I think he's pretty strong.
Yeah.
Good unit, has a lot of synergies, like you have the level you build him for, and then even if that doesn't end up being like the send level or the ending level, you still feel pretty good about having him. Not like something like Revenant, where if the game doesn't end on 15, you feel like a bit of a lemon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's really strong. Alright, moving on then. Steamroller. For me, this is
I'm back. Hi.
Hey, how you going?
Good.
So we've got our last two units. Actually, where do you think Guardian of Death goes? Because for me, I think we're like a little between C and D, unsure.
Guardian of Death and Minotaur.
Minotaur is for sure better than Guardian of Death. Until 20. I saw the Death Dragon raping 21 with Flamebeard. This was insane.
I just want to tell you, that is because of the Fire Overlord. Yeah, it is.
I think it has pretty good synergy then with the AoE.
It does,
Yeah.
but that's because this thing costs so much that when it dies, it does a lot of damage.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for the Guardian of Death, I would leave in D. Maybe the Minotaur I would put in C because of the Stomp.
Yeah, we were sort of talking about the Stomp though, and what Moa said, which I think is completely accurate, is that like, so he runs forward, he stomps, he hits like somewhere between 1 and 5 creeps, and then he dies.
Yeah, that's true. That's mainly
not
about
agreeing.
the Bigfoot. Because I mean, I think I was thinking too much about the Bigfoot first time we talked about the Minotaur. But I think Minotaur is like 1400 HP, and it's still a good tank. And okay, the spell is pretty shit, but it's still a decent tank. If you compare it to Guardian of Death, I think I'd rather have Minotaurs than Guardian of Death for even 15 or 17. So.
Okay.
But
Do we
just
want Minotaur
don't
to C?
upgrade it into Bigfoot. Just.
Do we want Minotaur into C?
I would do so.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense to me. I think you're right. Or at least I was like a bit focused on Bigfoot, which is just kind of too expensive to really use, particularly considering that like the first like 20 plus level is a flying level where the stomp does nothing. Yeah, okay, I'm alright with it in C. Yeah, cool. Alright, moving on. To me, Steamroller is poor man's Neo tank, so I would put it in D. It functions as a tank, but I wouldn't say it's a better tank than just like Guardian of Death or Cavalier or something. And it functions as anti-17, but for me it's worse than Neo tank, so I'd put it here.
I think it's even E for me.
Oh, I've had some success with it.
It's not DPS at all. The tank, yeah, it's. If you compare it to Guardian of Death on 15, yeah, you have better armor, but the DPS are super shit. Yeah, okay, G or E is fine for me.
I really feel like it's D tier. I think it's because it has some use as a damage dealer on 17, potentially even like assault tank if you have, I think, exactly Tox.
Yeah.
I think it has like a little bit more use than just your classic dumb tank.
Yeah, if you have Overseer with Steamrollers and a lot of value, you can easily hold 17 with Steamrollers Overseer.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. And it likes things like Highborn as well.
Yeah.
Likes those tanky supporters. Alrighty, last unit then, Dark Priest. Do you want to take that, Rummy?
Sure. Great anti-15 unupped, great anti-20, great or maybe with the best anti-21. I would put in it as plus maybe.
It's not so good on 21. It's good 21.
On the Radiant, it's really good.
Yeah, it's good, but it's not. I still agree with S+. So.
It's not S++ for me. I like S+. I think it has a lot of good levels. I think comparing it to Dragonhawk Acolyte, I think it's just better on, like, compared to Dragonhawk in particular, just because they costed quite similarly. I think this thing, it's worse on 12, and it's not as good on 16, but I think it's like way better on 14, way better on 18. I don't even think this thing's all that bad on 17, honestly. It's not good, I wouldn't build it for 17, but if I have a few, I'm not sad to have them. Because it just, like, knocks down creeps, has a debuff, like, it's just a good unit. There's not much to say about it. I really like it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's so much better than Griffin on 15. It's yeah, easy S+.
Alrighty. Do you guys see anything that jumps out at you that might be in the wrong spot?
I need to take a quick look. I'm a bit sad about the Maverick, but it's okay. Oh, maybe Parrot is. No, well, who cares? I just wonder if Parrot is doing some AOE damage on 15 and 17, and if it's relevant. I don't know.
I think
okay.
because the way it works on 10, right, is because it gets overkilled so much that it does extra damage. But on 15, it's not going to get overkilled that much, so I think it'll just get two-shot, like, almost neatly.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to be building, like, 20 to 30 parrots to deal, like, say if I built 20 parrots, I'd be dealing, what, like, 2,000 damage in total and have to do, like, 3 farms for that? Nah, no thanks. I think I wouldn't add it on 15. Unless it just have dead gold.
The only unit which is overrated for me is the Hellraiser. I'm not sure why it's rated S+. I mean, yes, it's a really good clear, but Not
Yeah,
sure if
he
it's
can run in front of, like if you have ADs, he can run in front of the ADs and get sniped after the hounds. So, and you need a good front line, you need insane front line with it, and you need, you need backline DPS to
killer.
kill demons. Yeah, so maybe just a S, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. I think, like, once we establish the list a little more, I think it's clear that he's not quite S+, but he is good just because he's good every level. I mean, the reason you don't see Hellraiser a whole lot, even though we're rating him quite highly, is because if you're playing Hellraiser early, you tend to just die, and you tend to try and actually be mid in like most of the sort of games. If you're a strong lane, you try and sort of hold. And Hellraiser is generally not going to be the best for that. It can work, but I would say you generally reroll to find better options. Then yeah, it's a good unit for like the average value 7-5 lanes that are looking to clear and maybe go mid, I think. And I think most people try and stay away from those in Lil, just because an average 7-5 lane that just clears is often not enough.
Bad. Yeah.
Okay, maybe something else then. I was thinking like Locke is S+, and Druid is S. Warlocks are indeed so much better on 15, they are good any level. But Druid is insane on 7. Well, it's great on 17 and better than Locks on 20.
I don't know
what you think.
I just it doesn't matter what role I got. I mean, up lock gives armor reduction and it's 180 gold, so I just build 3 or 2 just to reduce an armor, and it's just a great addition to any role for 180 gold.
Yeah, okay, so the price of the Ascendant is probably too expensive.
Yeah, too high. Yeah, too high. But agree, the Druid is way better 17 because you have Master of Elements and the DPS output is crazy on 20.
Druid sucks on 14 and 15, and that's why it can't be higher for me.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, seems fair.
Alrighty, I think we might sort of wrap it up there then. Thank you guys for joining me, and of course everyone that has joined the other sort of sessions and is not currently here. I really appreciate it, because of course you guys get nothing out of this besides my goodwill, which is worth absolutely nothing. So I really do appreciate you giving me a hand in this, sharing your opinions. I've certainly learned a few things and sort of gotten a bit of an idea about these units. So cheers very much. Of course, for all you guys watching, I appreciate that very much as well. Like, subscribe, all of that. Shameless bit of sellout at the end. I mean, why not? Surely it just enriches your viewing experience. Regardless, hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time.